Okay, what I'm going to do now is I have my sleeve, and it is as long as I want it to be. I tried it on, and I know that I like 30 stitches for my cuff down here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and decrease until I get to 30 stitches. So I'm going to chain 2, and then I am going to do in the next one, I am going to do 2 double crochets together in the next 2 stitches. And how you do that is you yarn over, poke it through, pull up a loop, pull through 2. Yarn over, poke it through, pull up a loop, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through all 3. And that's how you do a double crochet decrease. And I'm going to do that in every stitch across until I get back to the beginning. And this is how you will do it. If you do it, if you haven't decreased your sleeve, this is how you do it. Now, if you want to decrease your sleeve to make it more fitted, you can do that. I like mine to be looser because I tend to wear heavier clothes this time of year. Underneath, this is what I usually wear for a coat. I usually wear one of my crocheted cardigans. And so I'll wear like a sweatshirt or a sweater or something like that underneath, which is thicker and bulkier. And when you get to the end, you will want to count and see how many you have, because if you may need to not decrease every stitch, and I'll show you how to do that here in a second. But I'm going to decrease every stitch on this first round and see where we're at, and I will be right back. I hope you could see that. It's kind of hard to show. Okay, on my first decrease, I ended up with 27, so I am not going to decrease anymore because I need those stitches, but it will continue to shrink down. What I am going to do now is I'm going to go around with a half double crochet. So I'm going to chain 2. Actually, I'm going to chain 1 and half double crochet back down in that same stitch. That chain 1 will not count. We're going to half double crochet in the stitches all the way around. What this is doing is it's going to set us up. It's going to shrink it down a little bit more, but it is going to set us up for our cuff to have a nicer place to work into instead of these big, wide. Okay, so let me see if I can show you. See how wide these are, because you've got the decrease going on here, and these are not nearly as wide where I'm just doing my single crochet or my half double crochets. It brings you down just a little bit. It brings you closer together, and I may do one more row of half double crochets to bring it even further closer, or even closer together more, so that it shrinks it down a little bit more, because it's still a little bit wide for my wrist. And I have my jacket balled up on my lap underneath the camera. We're just going to half double crochet all the way around. You should have the same amount of stitches that you just counted, if you do it correctly. I'll be back. You can see how much further just that half double crochet brought me together. So I'm not going to need to do it one more time. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start on our cuff. And if you stick your hand in here this way, you should see how well it's going to fit. And then your cuff will bring it down even more, but it fits pretty snug on my wrist, and that's because I like to have my jackets pulled up on my forearms. I usually wear them pushed up on my arms. I need it to be a little bit wider. So what we're going to do now is we're going to chain 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You can chain as many as you want, and that may be a little bit much for me. I'm going to go with the 11. We'll see what it looks like. I may rip it out. So, not in this first chain, but in the second chain from the hook, we are going to do a single crochet. And we are going to single crochet back across till we get to where it came out of our sleeve. This is the ribbing I prefer. If you want to do the other ribbing that I did, that I showed you the other day, you can. But this is the one that I prefer to do. You can, you can do whatever ribbing you want to on your sleeve, or you don't have to do this part. Okay, now we're back to where we came out, and you're going to go in here and you're going to single crochet into the same stitch that you came out of, or slip stitch, and then you're going to slip stitch into the next one, and you're going to turn your work. Like so. And then you're going to work into the back post of your stitch, which the back post, it's hard to see on this one. Put this around here on this other side. The back post of your stitch is, if you look, you have 2 stitches right here. You have the front one, which is right here. This is your front. Let's see if you can do, I can do it over here. This is the front one. This is the one that's facing you right here. Okay, this is your front loop. This one is your back loop. So we're going to work into that back loop only. So you don't work into this one because that one's the one that you attached with. You go to the next one and you work into the back loop doing a single crochet, and then all the way across doing a single crochet. Back loop only. And this is what we're going to do the rest of the time. Now you need to make sure that you have the same amount of stitches that you started with. So I like to count whenever I go across to make sure that I have the same amount when I'm doing a ribbing, because it's easy to get off at the beginning or the end. And with this one, we should have 10 stitches. So what you do is you count, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This one does not count right here, so you count this first one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I need to do one more. You chain one, you turn your work back this way, and you do it all over again. You go back into that first one, and you do it back across, and this is what we're going to do all the way till we get to the end. But I'll show you how to connect it again at the over here on your sleeve whenever I get there. Okay, I have 10. So now where we're coming out of, we go back into that one with a slip stitch, go to the next one with a slip stitch. You turn your work and do the same thing. And this is creating the ribbing that we're going to have. And I'll be back whenever I get down here to connect it back over here when I go all the way around. Okay, I have my sleeve where I need to put my two pieces together now. And how we're going to do that is let me show you where I'm coming out at. Right here, and right here's my other one, so I've gotten where I can close this off now. So how we're going to do that is, if I can find my other piece of yarn. There it is. Can't see through the camera very well. So now since you may stop up here and realize that you need to connect it coming back, which is fine. You can do it either direction. So what we're going to do is we are going to go into this side, and we're going to come over here into this side, and we're going to pull up a loop and pull through all the loops, and then we're going to go the next one and the next one, and we're going to pull up and pull through all loops, and we're just slip stitching this close is what we're doing. You need to leave your thread back behind when you're doing this, and you'll be able to grab it easy that way. I'm not sure why my camera's not wanting to focus. And that's all you do all the way up, is one side and then the other side. And I will be back here in just a second whenever I get everything finished and show you what to do next. Okay, so once you get finished with both of your sides, your sleeves, your ribbing on your sleeves, you can either do the ribbing on the bottom. I'm not going to because mine is long enough, but you just start at the corner on the outside and you do your ribbing just like you did around your sleeve. What I am going to do is I'm going to do the open stitch all the way around the top and the bottom of my cardigan. But before I can do that, I need to crochet all the way across the base of my cardigan. So you want to do the wrong side, start with the wrong side. Let me make sure I've got the right side. I'll be right back. I was on the wrong end. So what you want to do is you want to start with your wrong side facing. You go to the side that you're going to crochet. Go into the very tops of the corner of the stitch, and we are going to do single crochets all the way across, or half doubles. I'm going to choose to do single crochets evenly, space them evenly across, and you need to have I think it's an even number. when you're doing your crochet or your single crochets, what you want to do is in every double crochet 2 single crochets, and that'll space you evenly all the way across. So how you do that is you look at your stitch, and because this has got an open space right here, you just do 2 single crochets in that open space. But when you come back and you have turned your work on the other side, hold on, the yarn was going down below me. Whenever you come back and you have this kind of thing, you go, because this is where we did this is our double crochet, you go into the hole here and around right there. Then the next one should be opened up, and you do 2 single or half double crochets, however you want to do it. You'll have a hole here and a hole here, and then you'll have one with 2 single crochets. Then you'll have one with a hole. When you open it up, you have a hole here and a hole here and a hole here, and you just put them in those 2 holes. And then you'll also have a hole there, but I don't use that one. And then I'll do 2 single crochets into this one. And that'll get you evenly spaced across, and you should have enough to do what you need to do. And it should be looking like that. And you're not going, and we're going to come back and work over the top on top of this. So it's going to even out. If you have uneven edges, it's going to even out your edges a little bit. And the next row will even them out. You go all the way across the bottom of your crochet like this. Even if you are adding on ribbing, you need to do this row. So if you decide you're going to do ribbing, do this row and then add on your ribbing, or you can do this row and then do what I'm getting ready to do on the bottom of mine, and I will be right back. Okay, we are at the other end, and what we are going to do is just single crochet in the end stitch, and then we are going to chain 2, 3, we're going to chain 3, we're going to turn our work, and now that we have single crochets, we can do the open stitch. So we are going to not work into our first one or our second one and go into the third one and do a double crochet, just like we've been doing this whole time. We're going to chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next one, and we're working across the bottom. Chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next one, back into those stitches that we just put around. Now you do not have to single crochet around where your collar is going to go, or around the opening of the cardigan. You do not have to do anything because those are already stitches. So we don't have to, we can just do the open stitch around those. So now what we are doing is the open stitch. We're starting at the opening of one side of our cardigan, and we are working all the way on the back side to the other side of our cardigan. And then we are going to work around our neckline and back down to where we started. We're just going to go all the way around the outside of the cardigan like this. And I'll be back when I get to the corner to show you how to do a corner. Okay, we are back to the other side, and I am going to go into the last stitch with a double crochet. We're going to chain 1, we're going to double crochet back into that same stitch to turn our corner, chain 1, and then we are going to skip this stitch and go into the next stitch. just like so. Chain one and go around, and now we are going around the front of our jacket. So then we're going to skip one and do the same thing over again and go into the next one. And I'll be back whenever I get to the top where we have our added on piece in the middle of our jacket. That's how you chain your corner. And your corner should look like that. It's just, it'll have two of them in there, and that's your corner. This is the bottom of your jacket right here. This is the bottom, and now we're going to go around the opening of our cardigan. And I'll be back whenever I get up to the top of the opening of the cardigan to the neck. Okay, here we are to the back. This is the back side of our neck. And I'm not sure why my camera's not focusing, but what I'm going to do is I've worked up to here, and now we're going to go across the back. And what you want to do is you can either work your single crochets across, or you can do like I'm going to do. And you can chain one, do a double crochet in the first stitch right there, chain one, do a double crochet, you skip over the space, do a double crochet into the very top of the next stitch, chain one, and you would have a stitch here, so we can split this. You would have a stitch right here in that hole. If you were doing a single crochet, that needs to be skipped. In this hole right here, you would do a double crochet, chain one, you would skip your next one, and you would do a double crochet in the next one, chain one. Now this is going to have two, so you would just do a double crochet down into this one, chain one, you're going to skip this one and do a double crochet into this one, chain one, skip this, do a double crochet down into this one, chain one, skip this one right here, and we're going to double crochet on the top of this stitch, and we're going to repeat all the way down to the very bottom of this side, because now we're working into our stitches here. And I will be back whenever I get down to the corner to work across the bottom. Oops, I gotta skip one, work into the next one, and I will see you down at the bottom of the cardigan. Okay, I wanted to show you, if you're having trouble, like I just skipped a couple of stitches and had to work back, but if you're having trouble seeing, like you're on the back side of your stitches, you're not on the front side, and you're having trouble seeing them, make sure you go on top of a stitch, then skip a stitch. Like I'm going to skip this one, and I'm going to work on top of this stitch. Chain one, I worked on top of this one, I'm going to skip this stitch, and I'm going to work on top of this stitch. Chain one, skip this stitch, work on top of this stitch, and just make sure that your crochet hook goes into the top of that stitch. And then you won't be missing. I missed a couple, and I wanted to show you. I pulled it out before I had it, but I wanted to show you what I had done and how I find my stitches kind of easy. I feel, and then I go to the top of that stitch and work into it. Chain one, skip one, do the next stitch, and just work into the top of it. Okay, here we are back at where we started, and what we're going to do is chain one. We're going to work back into this same stitch that we came out of, chain 1, and we're going to go into the top of our chain 2, which I'm going to turn this over to see. Just going to count that back 1, and we're going to slip stitch into the top of this stitch right here to turn our corner. And now this corner looks like the other corner. We're going to slip stitch, cut our work, and if you have your sleeve done on both sides, then you are finished with your jacket. If you're like me, you need to do the other sleeve because I had to rip out. So I've still got one sleeve to finish, and then I will show you guys the completed project. But this is what your edge looks like going down the front and the back, and then I will show you what the completed project looks like here in just a second.